All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on in NorCal Sports Network. We get it going as predicted here. Roki Sasaki signs with the LA Dodgers. Did you expect anything different? All right, welcome on in, everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Here we go. Roki Sasaki is an LA Dodger. You knew it. You just knew it, right? You just knew it. We'll get to the chat here shortly. Getting everything set up. I'll have a crew joining me here as we go live with this breaking news. Roki Sasaki has signed with the LA Dodgers as reported by several people, including John Heyman, Jeff Passan, Bob Nightingale, and I will have my crew be joining here shortly, a few of them who's ever available. But what'd you guys think? Roki Sasaki, LA Dodger. Not surprising, right? Not surprising. I'm just surprised it came today on the 17th. I thought it would come on the 21st, but pretty clear he was going to be an LA Dodger from the moment you knew he was, even before he was going to be posted. And you can go check out several videos that we did right here on NorCal Sports Network. So this news has been out less than 5 minutes, and we're on it, guys. We're on it. Come on into the chat here. Roki Sasaki, an LA Dodger. Anybody surprised? Yeah, we said he'd be a Dodger before he even posted. Said it, I mean, last year, you knew it was coming, right? Soon as he announced, or Ohtani signed, and I mean, the Dodgers have been scouting this kid since high school, okay? They had a relationship. Dodgers have a pipeline to the best players in Japan, and this isn't going to be the last guy that they sign, okay? It's going to continue. I've got text blowing up, so excuse me while I check my phone here and make sure that I think everybody's wanting to tell me the news, but, you know, I got my Twitter on with Heyman, Nightingale, Passan, whoever's going to report it, I'm getting it right away. So that's why we are on it. So hold on here a second. Let me get these things going here. I'm hoping my crew can join me soon so that we could get a little bit more stuff going. Hold on here, guys. I've got to get my phone so I don't get inundated and slammed. Okay, the link's out there. Everyone invited. Anybody wants to come in and join the show. We'll talk about Roki Sasaki becoming an LA Dodger. It was pretty much expected, right? So anybody want to come on in? Links out there, guys. We are sponsored by Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group is the sponsor, official sponsor of this show. And if you have any legal issues you need help with, check out the link in the description of the video or give them a call at 415-613-9483. Let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. And also, our new sponsor, guys, is Better, Better. Let me put their little logo up there in the corner. There we go. Better. Give Better a call or download the app, I should say. BETR. We're the official daily fantasy sponsor of NorCal Sports Network. Click on the link in the description or download the app and use the promo code NCSN for a deposit match up to $250 plus a free pick. Great weekend to do it. Take advantage of the NFL. So get on there to Better and enjoy your chances of winning big with BETR. All right, guys, let me get this banners off there, and then we'll put up. I'm running the show here. Like this is here. Hold on here. There we go. NorCal Sports Network. And we welcome in Lou Marston. Lou, it came sooner than I thought. I mean, he said the Padres are out, and then all of a sudden we get a decision. I just did a video earlier about Roki Sasaki and saying no to the Padres, and pretty much went out there and said no chance he signs with the Blue Jays. Said I would eat crow or egg in my face if he signed with the Blue Jays. And here it is, Dodgers. Did you? Well, you did. You thought he might go to the Padres, didn't you?
Yeah, I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. I've been saying the Padres for 6. I mean, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. I mean, this is sort of getting out of control. It's not even an all-star team. This might be the version of in the 30s, Murderers Row, the Yankees with their talent. I mean, I've never seen anything like this, and it's amazing because last year, and again, I'm going to say what Ned says, it's a destination. Last year, they didn't even have any starting pitching in the playoffs, and they still won it. Now, if everybody's healthy, I mean, it's another blow to the Giants. It's just one of those things where, Ned said it's all about a destination. Giants are nobody's destination. Everyone wants to be in LA, even though the fires have destroyed LA. The Dodgers are redoing their ballpark. They're going to be putting it up. It's going to be an impossible ticket to get. More people are probably going to have to start buying tickets of them on the road. And the Giants are very lucky that they get the Dodgers twice on 2 weekends. And it's going to be Dodger blue everywhere. So, like I said, I'm as mad as hell because, I mean, the Dodgers don't need him. Give somebody else a chance. But, this is how it's going to be probably for the next 10 years. So, but it happens. We're going to have to somehow knock down the beast.
Right. Absolutely. We're joined by Bora. I told you the crew would be coming in here, guys, and they are now arriving. We have more possibly on their way. Jeff Passan just tweeted out, "I'm sorry, Toronto." Oh, gosh. Hey, look, I did it today. If you guys, let me show you this tweet here. This is pretty funny from Jeff Passan here. There it is. "I'm sorry, Toronto." Now, if you checked my tweet out today, I will show you what I put out. I told you this was coming. Let me see if I can get to my tweet here. All right. "Just like Ohtani came down to Toronto and the Dodgers, so it's the same with Roki Sasaki. Toronto will be disappointed." This is 5 hours ago, by the way. "Will be disappointed again as Sasaki chooses LA. Did Canada do something to Japan for them to be played like this?" I mean, you knew this was coming. I mean, hey, just get Toronto involved. It's like, hey, Mikey, he'll eat anything, Give it to Mikey. Remember those commercials, Lou?
Life cereal.
Yeah. Bora, what's your take on this?
This is what we knew was going to happen. Dan, you and I, we both thought that he was going to the Dodgers. To me, it was fairly obvious. From a Giants perspective, though, I'm actually kind of happy. This is, if you think about this from a Giants fan's perspective, this is good news. The Dodgers are just so far ahead of everybody else that I don't know if it makes that much of an impact, really. Like they were favorites to win the World Series before. They're definitely still going to be the favorites, and they're probably going to win the World Series now. If he went to the Padres, he would have been on the Padres for 6 years, and that's who the Giants are trying to compete with and trying to catch. The Dodgers are just so far ahead of everybody else. You're not going to catch the Dodgers. It's just the Dodgers are the number one, the first place team for the next 5-6 years. There's no reason to try to compete with them. You're trying to compete with the D-backs and Padres. And if Sasaki had went to the Padres, then it would have been really hard to compete with him. Now with the Padres not getting Sasaki, Michael King on his last year, Dylan Cease on his last year, it's looking more and more possible that you're going to be able to catch them in the next couple of years.
I'm muted there. Okay. Yeah, I think it's actually better that he went to the Dodgers, as you said, Bora. I said the same thing, that, look, you're trying to catch the Padres. You're not catching the Dodgers. The Dodgers, think about this now. They have a 6 or 7 man rotation. They could go 8 or 9 deep. You include Emmett Sheehan if Kershaw comes back, if Dustin May is healthy. What they're basically doing is taking their pitching staff and making it bulletproof so that when there are injuries and guys are out for a month or two, they're not going to miss a beat. They're not going to miss a beat. They're still going to be able to throw always, for the most part, 5 to 6 men out there. And what this does now is it allows Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Sasaki, who are used to pitching on 6-man rotation, to now not be so stretched out. They will be much more. And how is this going to help the rest of the team? It's going to help guys like Glass now, who's kind of injury prone, and he's not going to have to pitch as much now. They can just get these guys to go 6 innings every six days, and they enter the playoffs fresh. Nobody's got 180 to 200 innings on them. They all got 140, maybe 150. Look, they're going to have, if you take 6 men and divide that by a 6-man rotation by the one, that's 27 starts. If you averaged, I don't think they'll average 6 innings, but they did. That's 160. I think they're probably likely to average, let's say they do, 160. Right around 150, 160 innings. Okay, these guys are really fresh now, and they can afford to go into the playoffs, and they can pull guys back and shorten their innings when they clinch the division by the end of August. And, they can just pretty much set up their lineup kind of like an NFC number 1 seed does. Or AFC, NFL number 1 seed. They just, okay, we're going to rest these guys. We're going to get them a little bit of work here and there. I mean, a lot of people say this is not fair to baseball. You can't baseball's got to step in and do something. I say otherwise. I say other owners step it up. Step it up. You're making tons of money. We see the amount of money that teams are making, the revenue. And then when you got revenue sharing with the smaller market teams. So I just think that people need to get better. Look, they said the same thing about Joe Lacob and the Golden State Warriors when they had Durant and Green and Curry and Klay Thompson and Iguodala, and they were just loaded. And basically the only guys they got from out of the, they got Livingston and Durant and Iguodala basically were non-drafts. The other guys were drafted, but that's what you do. If you draft well, you can supplement and make your team better. But what happened? Other teams got wiser, smarter, and came after them. And if you look, pretty much since, the Warriors got a title in 22, but they haven't been the same team since that 19 season when Klay Thompson got hurt and Durant got hurt in the finals, and both, were basically out. So the Warriors got the 22 season, but 23, 24, and this year, not very good. So other teams caught up. So I think baseball needs to, senior softball game says this is the time the Giants should rebuild. The Dodgers are going to run baseball for the next 3 to 5. The Giants should be stocking the farm and ready for a run when the Dodgers run is over. That's not a bad idea at all. They've got to go after international signings. I would be trading every fringe guy on the Giants that you are not planning on using and getting more and more international pool money to sign more and more international kids, because that's the way to build it. Because look, when you there's no draft. So you don't have to wait. Oh, we get the 7th pick and now we got to wait and we get the 39th pick. And by the time you get to the 39th, 50th pick, it's a long shot whether these guys make it or not. Go draft, go spend money, stop signing guys that giving away your international draft picks or money, I should say, not picks, and load up on money and sign 2 to 3 guys every year that are the top 5 guys. You got the number 1 guy this year.
Yeah, because the international signing is all about money. It's pretty much whoever can bid the most gets the guy.
That in relationships. The Giants have two teams. They have orange and black over there. I think that's what they call them. A lot of teams have two teams, but they've got connections. They're like mentors over there that these kids get hooked up with, like a coach, a mentor, and somebody's over there in the Dominican making relationships with these kids, or not the kids so much. First, they're making the relationship with the coach or mentor, saying, hey, because that guy's getting paid too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so you got to build up that. I heard the Blue Jays were going to try and make some deals to get up to 10 million in international pool money, and then obviously it didn't work out. And I'll just say this, and then you go ahead. Just say it never was going to work out. We all knew it was going to be a Dodger.
Yeah. I disagree with that last part for Senior. The Giants should be stocking the farm and ready for a run when the Dodgers run is over. Do you guys think this Dodgers run is ever going to be over? Because this is sustainable as long as they draft well, and if they keep on with their development, they're keeping on developing the guys, and they trade their prospect for other guys, and they have this Japanese market. I mean, this is just going to keep on going and going and going. They have unlimited money. They're run by a hedge fund. They have billions and billions and billions of dollars. They can keep on doing this for 20, 30 years.
Right. And here's the thing. Their money that they've got with that TV contract goes till 2038, guys. Another 13 years. They got billions of dollars. I like the point that Michi is making here. Let me pull it up back here. Why can't the Giants sign a TV streaming deal with Apple or Google? They're right in their backyard too. These tech giants are right here for the taking. I'd watch the Giants exclusively on Apple TV. Absolutely. Go get $1 billion plus $6-8 billion deal with one of these guys. I mean, they're right there in the Silicon Valley. Go make a deal.
That'd make too much sense. That would make too much sense. I will say one thing, Dan, is we keep talking about they're going to be a giant, but let me tell you something. This actually might even help baseball. I know, we're talking more about the Giants, but if New York makes the playoffs with Soto, can't beat the Dodgers, you know what's going to happen. Cohen's going to say, all right, we need Vlad, we need this, and you're going to have two powers, which baseball might like, one on the West Coast, one on the East Coast. And then, it's going to become something. And again, the one thing about this, and this is something the Giants don't think about, they now have depth if they have an injury. If you remember last year, a lot of people in the chat, the Giants are having a bad year because of injuries. Every team went through injuries. I mean, the Dodgers didn't even lost all 6 of their starters. So, you got to realize now they're equipped. They could have 2 pitchers go down. They still got 4 that are going to step up. With the Giants, I mean, how are the Giants going to be if, say, something happens to Webb? You know what I mean? We don't have the caliber, and we're going to be worse. So I don't know what exactly the answer is. Yep.
Yeah, this is why.
But you got to remember, they are older. But the thing about the Dodgers, they think 3, 5, 8 years down the line. The Giants, we're thinking about just trying to survive this year. So they're going to have to change. Butcher's going to have to realize, okay, guys, we're never going to catch the Dodgers. What can we do? How can we make the playoffs? If we can't make it the next 2 years, yeah, we have to tell everybody what we're doing. But, you guys got to remember the Dodgers are not going to stop. They're going to be like the Yankees of the 70s and 80s. And why would they stop? If the Giants and Dodgers reversed, we'd be doing the same thing. You got to remember that one thing too, and then I'll let you guys talk, is the Lakers are on their downfall. They owned LA, right? Right now, You got teams like soccer. LA, the Lakers are old. They're going nowhere. USC football, going nowhere. The Rams, yeah, but right now, the Dodgers, it's a golden opportunity. They're going to run the whole entire Southern California. They're going to be the team. They're going to be everyone's going to hate them. But you know what? When you have a villain, you make money, money, money. And they're going to be like this probably 3 to 5 years. You watch. the Giants games, the Dodgers are going to be the hot ticket. Why? Because everyone wants to see them somehow try to beat them, and the Dodgers are going to take over. It's just something we're going to have to get used to.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I think it's baseball. You don't have to just give in. You build a team that gets you to the playoffs, and you build it around great pitching. And we've seen great pitching beat good hitting. Okay. The Giants need to have, that's why I thought, if you're going to make a run, why not go after Burns and Fried and just, build a powerhouse pitching so that every game you go out there to pitch, you have a chance to you're going to be in the game. And, the Dodgers have had a lot of pitchers with a lot of injuries. So there's no guarantee that these guys stay healthy. I mean, Yamamoto was hurt last year. Snell was hurt for the Giants the first half of the year. May was out. Who else went down? Kershaw's been out.
Yamamoto was out.
Yeah, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Gonsolin. Look, they got a lot of guys that are getting hurt. So I think this is something that the Dodgers are trying to protect against, and this is why they're going with the 6-man rotation.
Yeah. And Dan, what Will Martinez says, I think is a great point. Completely great point, because
this one,
two different directions. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. It's one-sided. McCourt sold to like Boris said, a hedge fund, a very rich ownership group. Let's get to this.
Remember,
Dodgers
they didn't even have a
wrong.
TV deal. They had nothing. They were going downwards, and now it's completely flipped.
Right. Dodgers are doing nothing wrong, but MLB sucks for allowing this to happen. Why should any small market fan bother watching a sinking sport with the NFL? Interesting. What do you think about that, Bora?
I mean, it's tough because at the same time, like you kind of feel for these small market teams. I mean, the A's, they don't have a ton of money. They don't have the Dodgers money. The Royals don't have the Dodgers money. The Rays don't have the Dodgers money. But I also agree with you, Dan. It's like, step it up. Your owners are rich. You can afford to pay the premium for these guys, and you can afford to pay the taxes if you want to beat these guys. The reality is, some of these owners just want to make money, and they don't really care if the team wins the World Series or not, and they're fine with the Dodgers spending all this money.
Okay. MM Forever coming in with some shots fired. Okay. Having a little fun with the Giants name there. Okay. We can all chuckle. Look, MM Forever, you happen to hit a show that is not full of homers, so we can take it here. But your Dodgers are here for the tears. Look, it's cyclical. See if you can pull off 3 and 5. If you can, more power to you. It's not easy. People are going to be gunning for you. And I'm not laying down and saying the Dodgers get this thing done. You may have just made Steve Cohen say, okay, I'll go sign Flaherty. I'll go re-sign Alonso, or I'll trade for Vladdy, and maybe I'll add Santander. Look, he's got the money. I'm hearing Santander's looking at maybe only like a 5-year deal for $89 million. That's nothing. That's like $18 million a year. That's nothing for Steve Cohen. That's like a tip at a when he leaves a restaurant. I mean, this guy.
Dan, that's like you down in Arizona. I know you run the place. You run the whole state. I understand. Sorry, me and Bar aren't used to someone tipping that much. I mean, we're happy with the, $5 foot long. Thanks.
But I don't know. The Dodgers, I'm not saying, I mean, yeah, they're the overwhelming favorites. But look, you get in a series, a 5-game series. They're likely to win the division, so they have a 5-game series. facing somebody who just coming off of winning a series with momentum. We saw it happen quite a bit, Dodger fans. How did you guys do from 2013 to 2024? You won one World Series. And don't give me the 2020 crap, okay? You guys all know that was not a real legitimate season. You didn't get a parade. That's why you guys wanted this so bad. And your owners have said, you know what? We're going to do whatever it takes to win and win repeatedly. And you know what? I give the Dodger owners credit for that. Look, if you're a baseball fan of any team, you want your owners to be like the Dodgers owners. You want them going out with the idea of just spending whatever it takes. We had Ned Colletti on here. He said he thought the owners actually wanted to win more than the fans. Go ahead, Bora. I'm going to make a text here real quick.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's sad that the Giants ownership doesn't have the drive that the Dodgers ownership does, because the Giants ownership has money. Larry Baer and Greg Johnson, they have money. This Mission Rock project is going to start producing unlimited money. They could do this. They could be signing Sasaki. They could be signing Snell. They could be signing Teoscar. They could be signing Pete Alonso. They could be signing all these guys and still be making a profit. The Giants made $443 million worth of revenue last year. That's 8th in the league, I think. Dodgers made 549. The Yankees made 679. So the Giants are in the top 10 of revenue and they spent a little. They spent last year, but they're going to be up there this year with being under the tax too. They have room to spend, and if they spend, San Francisco, it's not like San Francisco doesn't care about baseball. San Francisco is a great place for baseball. I mean, the fans care. We care. That's why we're on here talking, and that's why we're angry that the Giants aren't spending. There are many more fans like us that want the Giants to spend, and if the Giants spend, and if the ownership can spend, and the product on the field is worth watching, and they're in playoff contention every year, they're going to be making more money. And I don't understand why they don't see that and they don't appreciate that. It's at the end of the day, it's like you said, Dan, the Dodgers ownership cares more about winning than the fans do. And the Giants ownership doesn't care about winning. They honestly don't. They just care about making money.
No, this is revenue. A call out to San Francisco Giants owners. Look, you guys just flat out don't care. Just come out and say it. We know you don't care by your actions. Look, you have Pete Alonso out there, and I hear the rebuilding, okay? People say, well, we don't want to block Bryce Eldridge. You know what? Go ahead and sign Pete Alonso, and go ahead and sign Anthony Santander. Go ahead and sign Jack Flaherty. You know what? In the end, it's just money, and you guys are printing it there at 3rd and King, okay? Over there, like Boris said, at Mission Rock, you've got so much money. Why don't you try and build a team? And you know what? If guys do great, you start winning. If they don't, you trade them off or whatever you got to do. But you could actually put together a competitive team right now, but you choose not to. You choose to rather stay under the luxury tax, and you choose to pay people like Yaz $9+ million. You got Tom Murphy or whatever. Yeah, the backup catcher getting $4 million. When you had Joey Bart that was paying less than $1 million, you pay Lamont Wade and Wilmer Flores. There's another $6 million between those two guys. Look, I just rattled off 9 + 6. That's 15. Murphy, that's 4. That's 19. Who else can I chop off on the?
Yeah, it's 9
on the team. I already
Tyler
got
Rogers, $5 million.
His brother, 11
Rogers,
11 million.
Rogers.
16. Yeah. I just came up with, let's see, 9 for Yaz, 6 for Flores and Wade. That's 15.
Flores and Wade is
equals like 6 million combined.
They equal 10 million.
Do they now? Okay,
so Lamont Wade is making 5 million. Flores is making 5.5.
Okay, so 10 million there. You got 10 million there. You got Yaz 9, so call it 20 million between those 3 players. Rogers is another 16 million. There's 36 million, and you could lump that off. And then Tom Murphy, That's $4 million. You just got rid of $40 million right there. That's two really good players
That's
that you could
Alonso
add.
and
And
Santerre.
instead, you just carry bodies. You're spending over $200 million, and you don't have anybody but Adames and Chapman that are actually and Webb. Those three are taking up the majority of the salary.
Yeah,
I don't
Dan.
get it.
I said
Jung-Hoo
this
Lee
when
now. Jung-Hoo Lee.
Yeah, another 20 million. I said this before. We have to get rid of the dead wood. I don't know why we're so in love with these players. They're not players that make a difference. They're not going to take us to a level. If anything, they keep us stagnant. As you say, the lane, they keep us where we are. Why we made it to make sure we bring all these guys back. Oh, the Giants made a big move, arbitration, all this. It's really bad. You bringing up 40 million. I don't care. I'd rather have AAA guys and give me two more studs. We still have major problems. We don't have an ace after we lose one. We don't have a first baseman. Don't give me Lamont. He's not a first. We don't even have a second baseman. So, we're missing major parts.
You really don't. You're
when you look at it, what pisses me off more is the A's have done more this offseason, leaving their ballpark, going to Sacramento, than the San Francisco Giants. In fact, as you keep calling them a while back, the San Francisco midgets, it's fine. That's the way I'm going to start going, and you guys are bringing up great analogies. When I start going to these Giant games, I'm going to start wearing great shirts, something that, when a batter's up, they'll be able to see it on the back. Cause it's embarrassing, and by the way,
merch.
It's merch. It's 11 years since we won the World Series. Okay. 9 years, we've only been in the playoffs twice. And of course we, couldn't even get past first round. It's a sad day. By the way, before I forget, Los, great job on the show, dude. I caught part of it. Well done earlier today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right, Necron. Sounds like they want Randall Grichuk. Yeah, this is what the Giants do. They go out and they patch guys in that are no part of the future. They bring in these guys just like Mark Canha last year. What the heck is going on with this team? Why do you fill it with 32 to 35-year-old guys that are past their prime and are just journeymen, and you're looking to fill a roster? You did it with, what was that guy's name? The AJ Pollock. Yeah. AJ Pollock.
Because he's from the area 25 years ago. This way he can stay with his parents, get free food, and they don't have to pay rent. Helps the Giants' bottom line. It's ridiculous.
Yes. Canha.
Could it be that that's all they can get?
No.
Is that it?
No.
Wow. Well, that's the proof.
Just pay more money.
I mean, action speaks louder than words. That's all they can get. That's all that wants to come here.
They got Adames. They got Chapman because they overpaid. If you're going to overpay for a couple guys, why would you stop? Because it just makes no sense. So you're going to have 2 or 3 guys that you like, and then you're just going to fill. I mean, Jung-Hoo Lee's an overpay.
It's a huge overpay.
I mean, they got all. So
is Logan Webb the only guy on the Giants that's not overpaid? Is he the only underpaid guy based
right
on
now?
performance?
And Ramos right now, because he hasn't hit his arbitration years yet.
Yeah, but amongst veterans, like he's probably the only one that's underpaid.
Yeah, Webb's probably like, why did I take this hometown discount, man? I could have got 10 million more a year and pitched for a contender.
Is Jung-Hoo Lee at 113 million?
Yes.
However many times better than Hae-Sung Kim at 22 million. I mean, I would love to see at the end of this upcoming season the comparisons between those two guys' stats. Jung-Hoo Lee and Hae-Sung Kim. Is Jung-Hoo Lee really 5-6 times better than Hae-Sung Kim? I don't think so.
Yeah, look at Will Martinez says this is NorCal, and he was at Texas Roadhouse in Turlock, and most of the employees had Dodger hats on. I'm telling you, look, there's a lot of Dodger fans, real Dodger fans out there, and many of them are on this show, but there's also a bunch of bandwagoners. They're jumping on because it's like everybody, hey, it's like Cabbage Patch Kids years ago, right? Hey, the Dodgers are hot. They got Ohtani, they got Freeman, they got Betts, they got Yamamoto, they got Sasaki, they got Blake Snell. Look, on and on and on and on it goes, right? Did we finish reading this super chat, by the way, or did I take it down?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Now
read
the
that.
third, that's a new one.
Let me
third.
go ahead. All right. DL Meta says players are just signing with the Dodgers just to get on the bandwagon and have the clout at this point. Look, can you blame the players that want to win and pitch in front of us? I mean, look, we all played sports, all four of us on this screen that you're watching, all four. Did you guys get pumped up with an empty gym or an empty football stadium or an empty baseball, or did you get jacked when the place was packed and there was electricity? Were you more like juiced yourself? Were you more pumped up when you walked out and you saw the crowd?
Definitely more pumped up. And I personally enjoyed beating the best teams. You know, I didn't want to take the easy route and just go to the best team and have it easy. No, I like competing against the better teams, the better players, and it was satisfactory as hell when we did beat them, which happened once in a while. Remember, it's not who is the best; it's who plays the best in any sport at any level. You can have better teams and worse teams, but if that bad team is on that day and that good team is having an off day, that's the beauty of sports. You just never know.
Yeah, you just don't know. Look, the Dodgers have been in the playoffs since 2013. It's 2025. They have one World Series to show for it. I'm not counting 2020, guys. I'm just not. And I wouldn't count it if the Giants won it. That was just who cared?
And
nobody.
Dan, with the new system, it
cutout.
makes it tougher if you're the best record. As we've seen in the last 4 years, only one time has both number one seeds actually gone to the World Series. You know, it's hard.
Year,
they make it
Yankees,
they
Dodgers.
make it easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think that this is great for baseball. Just so many of these teams just absolutely have no chance. Like if you're a fan of these teams, these lower budget teams, lower marketed, smaller market type of teams, like you have zero chance of winning. Zero, not even one or two. There's no hope whatsoever. I don't think that's good for the game. I really don't.
It's interesting. I mean, you got teams like Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, smaller markets, Tampa. I mean, if you guys just look at the payroll of teams, if you just went out and just, I'll pull this up here and I'll show you what the contracts look like. This is off of Cott's salary, and I'm sure they don't. Well, Sasaki's not going to matter because he's not making them much. But here's your projected. Look at the Yankees, $302 million. Blue Jays, $223. Red Sox. So the American League East spends, except Tampa Bay. Look at that, $88 million. Okay, but yet Tampa Bay somehow has done it with less money. Phillies, $307. Mets, $285, and that's going to climb. I guarantee it. Atlanta, $222. Nationals, $129, and the Marlins, $83. Then you go over to the American League Central, $148 for the Twins, $155. Detroit, $132. Now, Detroit should be spending. You should go out and get Alex Bregman right now. I mean, you have the money. Cleveland, look at that, $117, but yet they were in the American League's championship series last year, right? White Sox, forget it. Cubs, almost $200 million. Cardinals, $163. Brewers, $134. Reds and Pittsburgh. Look at that. And then you look at the West American League. Houston, $243. Texas, over $2. Angels. Then you got Seattle and the A's. And then you look at the Giants at $220. Look at the Dodgers, $361 million. And they're going to pay the luxury tax. They don't care. So you're all over the board. You got not several, but you got a few teams under $100 million combined. And Los, I hear what you're saying about not being good for baseball. Do you think baseball needs to do what the NFL does and go to a hard cap? Or
Players Union would never let it happen in baseball, unfortunately, but I think, yes, it would. I mean, I always talk about how baseball used to be, great in the 60s and great in the 70s. You wouldn't put up, who's the champion is more than likely a high payroll team. No, it wasn't even like that. Small market Pittsburgh the We Are Family, one of my favorite non-Giants teams of all time, with Stargell and Parker. They won a World Series in the 70s. So that to me is when professional sports is great, is when you just don't know who's going to win the championship, and it's getting to a point, or who's going to be good for that matter. And it's just getting to the point right now where you just know these handful of teams are going to be real good, and these handful of teams are going to be real bad, and it's everybody else in the middle. And I just don't think that's good for the game. But
we see teams like Baltimore who rebuilt. Senior softball games has been in here on record, says he thinks the Giants should just rebuild, take the next 3 to 5 years, forget what the Dodgers are going to do. You're not going to catch them, and rebuild it. To do that, you pretty much – the problem is the Giants got Chapman and Adames in their lineups that are taking up $50 million a year combined salary, and they both have no trade clauses. Now, they could waive them, but does anybody want that Chapman contract? I wouldn't. I wouldn't want 6 years of Matt Chapman. I maybe if the Giants paid 2 of those years, maybe somebody would say, okay, we'll take Chapman for 4 years. But you're not going to get rid of Chapman now. You're not going to get rid of Adames this year. So how do you rebuild when you're going to be close to 500?
You don't. That's the answer. You don't. And I want to go back to that super chat. Think of it from
this one.
Yeah, from Sasaki's perspective. You're coming to a new country. You have the best team in the world wanting you to play for them. You have 2 of your, I don't know, best friends, but people that speak your language. When you're in a new country and you don't speak the native language of English, if I were in Sasaki's shoes, I'd be wanting to go to the Dodgers. Now I get it from a Giants fan's perspective and from a baseball's perspective. Like, you're just going to the best team. You don't have that competitive spirit. And I'm with you. I would be the guy that would want to take down that team. But the Dodgers offer stability. I mean, the Padres, Yu Darvish's his best friend, and he's 38. He's not going to be there for 6 more years. Ohtani's going to be with the Dodgers for 6 years. Yamamoto's going to be with the Dodgers for 6 years and more. All these guys are going to be with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers offer stability. So from Sasaki's perspective, why would you not want to go to the Dodgers? But I get your perspective, and it's just like, just jump on the bandwagon. I get it.
Yeah, you just have a competitive advantage when you can build your team knowing you have the most marketable team, the most popular team, and you can miss on draft picks because I can just go buy players and they want to come here. Like some superstar in Japan is not going to go to Colorado. It's not going to go to Pittsburgh. It's not going to go to Kansas City. They're just not. And if you're a fan of those teams and those organizations, that the A's, that's pretty frustrating. You have to build it either through the draft and hit, or by some chance if somebody's willing to trade with you and you get over on the trade. But you're not going to be able to compete for free agents because the Yankees and maybe the Mets and the Blue Jays and the Phillies and the big teams that are on top of baseball right now, they're going to get all the best talent. And it's not going to stop. It's going to continue that way year after year until something is done.
Let me ask you guys this, because Ryan says do what the NBA does, is a soft cap. Well, that's not going to stop the Dodgers. They can just keep spending. They'll just pay the luxury tax. So the teams that have the money that want to win, they'll just go over and they'll pay extra. And if you look at the NFL with a hard cap, you have teams that any team any year can bounce back. It was just a couple years ago, right? I mean, the Titans are at the bottom of football right now, right? But a couple years ago, they were a very competitive team, and people thought they could make the Super Bowl a couple years back. Now they can easily turn that around within a couple of years. Would baseball be better off if everybody was capped at you could not go over a certain amount, and that you had several teams spending a couple $100 million? I mean,
I think so.
you're going to have to spread the stars around, because with the hard cap, you can't have all the stars. So
I think that would be better for the game, for sure.
What do you think, Laura?
I kind of think that might be better for the game. And I hate to, I mean, I'm a little torn on the fence right here, because I want to reward the teams that want to spend money, and I don't want to not reward the teams that don't spend money. But at the same time, if it's just going to be like this for years and years to come, where the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies, just those big market teams that have unlimited capital and unlimited money to spend are spending, and the teams in the middle aren't spending, then I kind of think so. Like the Mariners, you brought up the Mariners that a couple minutes ago, what they were spending. I think they were spending like 170. I'm gonna bring up this graphic right here. This is revenue of Major League Baseball teams in last year at 2024. The Yankees made $679 million. Dodgers 549, and that's just going to keep on going up. Cubs at 506. Look at the Giants, 443 million. The Giants need to be spending 300 million every year. These teams that are making 400 million, they need to be spending 400 million or 300 million every year.
Down there, look at all these teams are over 300 million.
Look at the Mariners. The Mariners are at 400 million, and their salary is at 170 right now. That's just, if I'm a Mariners fan, I'm mad with the ownership, because I mean, how do you not spend? And
where's Tampa on that list?
Tampa.
Hey, you know what? Seattle's
Tampa's
at 157. 157. Seattle. That's how much they spent.
Yeah, I mean,
right now.
Yeah, these teams make money, and the Athletics at 241, the White Sox at 288. I mean, if you produce a good team, you're gonna make more money, because there are gonna be more seats or more butts in the seats. It's just no one's going to those games right now, and they're still making, the White Sox are still making 300 million. So it's a lot of teams that are making a lot of money.
You know, Aaron makes a good point about guys wanting to play for different, they all want to go to the Dodgers. Lou, you can attest to this, right? Getting scouted and wanting to be a co-host on NCAA. How could you turn that down, right? I mean, you had offers all over YouTube, and you said, I'm going to NorCal.
As soon as you and Eric had the problem, I mean, the phone was just blowing up. Internet, everything. We got to get this guy.
Free agent Lou Marston.
Yeah,
went to the highest bidder.
Yeah, but Dan, the one thing too.
But Eric and I are on good terms. You better watch out.
I was actually on the show last night when he was there. I better step up. I better be more salty. I'm going to say this.
You never know what can happen, Lou.
I know. I'm going to say that. Here you go. I'm already out. It can happen that quick. They're now going to be like the U.S. Dream Team of hoops. They are now going to be the biggest draw. Everywhere they're going to go, it's going to be a full house. It's going to help Major League Baseball. It's going to help ratings. I mean, I just found something out yesterday about the Giants, and they probably did this knowing with the Dodgers and Sasaki. They are hurting so bad for season tickets. They now have the visitors section VIP area. And what that is, it's 4 rows of 4 to, if you're looking at the ball, if you're looking at first base to the left of the visitors dugout, they're going to sell all 16 seats for the road. So like when the Dodgers come and you want seats, you're going to be able to buy 16, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, so you can see your team there. So I think, I've never even heard the Giants even decide to do this, but they decided to do this because they realize more people are coming to see the visitors teams than the Giants. So they're going to adapt, try to make as much money as possible. That's what it's about. But imagine when the Dodgers go to Pittsburgh, right? They might get 20,000. Every game's going to be sold out now. When the Dodgers go to the Mets, it's going to be the toughest ticket. That might be a tougher ticket now, especially with Soto, than the Yankees Mets. So I think overall it's going to help baseball. It's just, unfortunately, it's not going to be fair. But this is why they play the games. What are we going to say in October when they get knocked out somehow and they're not in the World Series, or they even get to the World Series and they don't win it. You can't buy a team. The one thing about Krupp and Kuip, it's all about chemistry. You never know. They have so many egos, but the way the Dodgers did it, it's not like they just did it once. They've done it over 6 years to develop this thing. And, the Giants need to make notes. We're not, even with the A's out of here, like I said, the A's are going to be rocking up in Sacramento. After the first 6 weeks, we're going to start hearing a lot of excuses about the Giants. Oh, well, we got to do that. And as Dan said, we still have no clue what the direction is of this team. We still have money, but that's just how it is. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, Los.
No, I'm sorry. Let me ask you a question. I'm interested in hearing from a season ticket perspective. So obviously,
Bill.
The quality of baseball the Giants have put out recently has not been good.
Correct.
What would be your primary or your first 2 reasons why you renew season tickets? Is it the ballpark is beautiful? Is it that you just love the game of baseball? I'm curious, and I'll add this. If they were still playing a candlestick, playing this kind of baseball, losing a lot of games, would you renew your season tickets for that same price, honestly?
Well, I can tell you one thing. Our tickets went up this year because what the Giants do is they do either a 3, a 5, or a 7-year segment, as they call it, where if you buy for 7 years, you go 1.5%. And then after the 7 years, they do the bump. So my season tickets, actually, I just found out, went from 44,700 to 58,500. And what the Dodgers have, the Giants have done is they have certain different levels of games. So to give you an indication, like a Tuesday game against Pittsburgh, my tickets cost $61. For opening day, the Dodgers, they call that their Grand Slam games, are $447 each.
Right.
It's pretty unbelievable. But, the one thing about my seats, the thing about my seats is I think they're the best seats in the house. So when I bring people, they're sort of blown away. It's also great if you have kids. I literally probably give 10 games away to charities, or certain things if I can help out. Make a wish every year. I ask them, is there anyone that's a huge baseball fan? Here's some tickets. We did that last year, but the tickets have been in our family since New York, and there was only 22 tickets. I don't know exactly if there was maybe 4 or 5. My grandfather had tickets. Then they went to my uncle. And even when I went to SI, I went to 80 games out of 81. But at the Stick, they were still the best seats. I had 4 right in the front row. We actually, in high school, I had 7. We had 3 in the front row and then 4 behind it because, I have a big family. But, the thing is, except for maybe the people that sit next to me, family tickets that have had tickets since number one, since day one of the new ballpark, and they also had tickets next to us at Candlestick, is behind us Visa. Christopher Columbus, the director. So him and Robin Williams had tickets behind that row. And then another guy that invented Hot Pockets. So really, there's not many families that have season tickets. It's still all corporations. Yeah. But with the Warriors moving in, a lot of people have left, and I think that's the biggest problem with the Giants is it used to be a little bit cheaper, a family, and now it's not. It's really all corporations.
And I asked that question, not to question your motive at all. I'm just interested because we always talk about the game being a business. Well, it's not just a business for the players and for the executives. It's business for the fans. You don't have to pay the money that you're paying for an inferior product. We as fans have that choice. If we don't want to pay $40 for a hamburger, we don't have to. If we don't want to pay $60 for a movie, we don't have to. So I always see it one-sided from the executives, from the players, from the organization's point of view. As fans, we have choices too. It's a business. And if that product is not good, we're not going to pay for it in some cases. So I wanted to just hear your perspective.
No, but it's also the tickets just aren't mine. They're family tickets.
No
a
doubt,
couple
no
guys
doubt.
that hit me up, but still, I think since really NorCal has started, I keep telling people the season ticket holders have dropped, and I don't know if there was some guy on the chat that used to work for the Giants kept saying, "No, dude, you're nuts." They're getting 20,000, they're getting 25,000, 30,000. I mean, it gets bad where they get 30,000, but initially it's probably 5,000 walk up. 5,000 are there because you're giving away something where people go in, they'll get the free Hawaiian shirt and then they leave. And then, especially during the first couple of months where they have the afternoon school special, it's all executives that are taking somebody out, they're entertaining, and that's it, and you'll see this year, and you saw this last year, you get some of these games where the parking is so expensive, and I get every other game where I'll be on with Dan and we'll show you the crowd. They'll say there's 22,000 fans out there. They'll be lucky that there's 8. I don't know if they put the sound in, Kruk and Kipe always, say it. And then you look, it's like, dude, there's not 24,000 there. So
Hey,
I
Bill,
don't know if it's, it's
if
one
you're
of those
still out
things.
there, we're going to want to get to your super chat. Thanks for the super chat from Hawaii. He's on vacay. Los is right. We may have to just face. That's all we can get. This was a while back when I don't even remember what your thought was. No players when it come play in the shithole generally. And I'm talking the area, San Francisco versus LA. Give me a break. So he's basically saying, if I can read that right, I know you're limited to number of words per super chat. So he's basically saying the area is bad for the Bay Area as far as the city. Is that what you guys are taking?
LA is no walk in the park either. So
I'm gonna defend San Francisco a little bit here. It's not you see a lot of things on the media. It's not as bad as you see it on the media. It's still a great place. I mean, I've been here a month. My last month I've been here. It's great. Every big city is going to have its flaws. That's just the way it is. Every big city is going to have an area which is filled with homeless people and drugs. And that's the Giants. It's the Tenderloin. It's not. I mean, the Giants area where the ballpark is, it's not that bad. Now that they've gotten Mission Rock there and the Warriors Stadium is there, it's actually pretty nice. Yeah. I would say it's rather than the city and the place it actually is, it's the weather. I mean, people want to play in weather and people want to play in warmer weather. A lot of baseball players don't want to play in 50 degree weather with like 15-mile-an-hour winds. They want to play in LA where it's 72 and sunny.
Yeah, and the thing is, LA is so vast and huge. I mean, you can live in just about everywhere. You're not just like the city of San Francisco. There's suburbs that are nice. There's parts of the city that are nice that you can live in the city, and there's places you can go enjoy in the city. But for the most part, ball players aren't living near Dodger Stadium. That's for darn sure. It's not in the greatest area, Dodger Stadium, but they're living, where, I mean, LA is just full of billionaires, right? I mean, it's huge. And we look at these fires that they've had. I mean, it's affected, over 40,000 acres, but it's also, there's still so much more to Southern California that, Shohei lives in Orange County.
Yeah, he lives in Newport Beach. That's an hour and a half away.
Right. So, he gets probably, I don't know, some of these guys might have private helicopters or something that they can just take whatever. I mean, but I had another thought, and I'm trying to remember what it was before we close out here. Let me think of it because whatever. What's your thoughts, Bora? Go ahead, Dan. I'll try and think.
Sorry, I was just going to say one thing, and we've talked about this before. The Dodgers won the World Series. They're adding to make their team better. But in case a lot of the chat doesn't know, go online right now. They're redoing the whole entire stadium.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're making the stadium now better for fans, right? They realize what they had. They're spending $200 million of their own money. They have guys working around the clock, even though the fires are going, to make sure it's there for opening day. Okay. We keep talking about, we have a ballpark that nobody wants to be in. Dan, about 6 weeks ago, guys, take down Triples Alley. You can add another 2,500 fans in there, right? The Giants don't think that way. The Dodgers are thinking, okay, what can we do to even make our ballpark experience even better? And, that's sort of the
new
difference
state-of-the-art facilities.
Yep.
Right. And you know what? You know what they're doing? They're making first class the visitors clubhouse. So when visiting teams come in, they go, oh, crap, this is nice compared to what we even have in our home dugout or home clubhouse. Dang, I'm coming up for free agency in a couple years, man. I want to come here. Look, they are running it like a business that wants to basically step on everybody else.
Dominate. And they're doing it.
Yeah. And you know what? They have a group of owners that have got together and said they want to just dominate the sport, and they're all geared toward winning. And what do the Giants have? They have a group of 33, 34 owners with maybe 5 or 6 that are actually dealing with the club.
And they're not all on the same page. And that was obvious because of the Farhan thing, how that whole thing played out, and the Kapler. The Dodgers organization and ownership, everyone is on the same page. It's all about winning. What can we do for this ball club and this ballpark to help us win? It's not we're going to make money, but what are we going to do to help this team win? The Giants, it's like, what are we going to do to help this team win? What are we going to do to help this team make money? Those are the two different things, and not everybody's on the same page.
Yeah. Let me get to this super chat. Another one by Bill. He says, I agree with you that what you're saying about San Francisco not being that bad, but that's because you live here and I do too. But people coming to start a life here, they're not picking San Francisco over LA. Yeah, I could see that. They're not going to pick it because of all of there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of things that are happening.
That's a whole different segment.
yeah. That's no
comment.
So I got to believe that this is going to put a spark in Steve Cohen. I think you could have an arms race, sort of kind of like the U.S. and Russia when who's going to get more nukes, right? Is it going to be the U.S. or is it going to be Russia? And they're like, let's get as much. I think Steve Cohen is going to do something here in the next week to 2, knowing like, look, how am I going to get through that pitching staff? How am I going to get through that lineup? I've got to do something to combat it. I need more stars. And there's still a couple out there. There's Alex Bregman. He would fit in nice. You could, if you don't want to sign Alonso back, you can sign Bregman to play third and move Vientos over to first. That makes them better. They could just go with Alonso, and they can sign him and Santander. I think the Mets need more pitching. I don't know if that means they go after a Jack Flaherty or what, but and you got the Phillies. Look, I'm telling you that what's going to happen here is you're going to have teams like the Mets and the Braves and the Phillies who have the ability to take down the Dodgers. This is not – the Giants have no chance.
Deal.
Giants have zero chance. This is – Giants are like AA compared to the Dodgers. Whereas, the Phillies, Mets, and Braves, I mean, they're solid baseball teams. And they just need – San Diego had the Dodgers number. They had them. They had them beat.
2-1 at home.
Yeah.
At home.
So this is not easy. And you know what? You're going to have a ton of LA fans rooting, obviously, for the Dodgers, the people that are but there's going to be an army of people that want to see the Dodgers get taken down. And they may have their reign. Likely, are they the Warriors of 2017-18 with KD? Probably. Are they the Chiefs for the last couple of years? Probably. but it doesn't last forever. It doesn't last forever.
And from the Dodgers' perspective, let's be real. Until the Giants do something, the Giants are an afterthought. The Dodgers' rival in the division is Arizona and San Diego. The Giants are an afterthought. They're a pushover. That Giant-Dodger rivalry is in name only. Until the Giants decide to do something about it, that's just the way it's going to be, and the fans are just going to have to accept it. That's how it is.
Yep, and that's, Los, before you came on, one of the first things I said is we were talking about Sasaki, and I said this is actually a good thing if you're a Giants fan, because the Dodgers are so far ahead of everybody else. Sasaki going to them doesn't really put a dent in that. If Sasaki had gone to the Padres, now the Padres are a step above. But the Padres and D-backs, the Giants, with a couple good moves and a couple good wins, and if they have a good season, if a lot of things go right, they can compete with the D-backs and Padres. They can't compete with the Dodgers. They just can't. So I'll say what I said at the beginning. It was a good thing that Sasaki went to the Dodgers rather than the Padres.
And there we see he's getting $6.5 million from the Dodgers. Pretty much their entire international pool. They had a little over $5 million. They made some trades, obviously, to get up to the $6.5 million. The Blue Jays could have paid him 9 or 10. Told you it was never about the money. This thing was a whole thing was set up. We told you from the beginning it was a charade. I mean, it's like the teams that got involved. I mean, this thing just methodically, boom, boom, knocked all these guys off. Cubs gone, Rangers gone, Giants gone, Mets gone, Yankees gone. Who else was involved in that? I think that was the most of them. Then it's like, oh, we've narrowed it down to 3. And it's like, oh, Padres gone. And then we don't even hear Blue Jays gone. We just hear he's signing. Look, guys, I did a video probably 3 hours ago about Roki Sasaki not going to the Padres, that they were ruled out. And I said that I thought this signing would come next week. I really thought it was going to come on Tuesday, a day of no news. But today is a day of no news, really. You're beating the inauguration. You're beating the NFL playoffs. So you get it out there. But it came sooner than I thought. And this was very, very obvious from the beginning he was going to be a Dodger. And I don't know, does baseball, there's no rule like there is when the NFL has that you have to interview so many minorities for a head coaching job or a defensive or offensive coordinator job. You have to, the Rooney rule or whatever they call it. There's nothing like that in baseball, is there? Where
I don't believe so.
I mean, why? I mean, what was this all about? We knew he was going to be a Dodger. There was no, the charade of all this talk and of Sasaki going to, he's going to go here possibly, and he wants to go to a smaller market. He never had, I don't even think he was considering. I think he just like, you know what? Oh, you guys want to wine and dine me? Okay. You want to take me to Toronto and I can get a nice meal and get to meet you this and blah, blah, blah. I'll get a chance to go to Canada. Whatever. What is, this was never a shot at going to be anywhere else but the Dodgers. And I don't know why he could have just said, I want to be a Dodger. Why does, the rest of the international guys that signed, the Giants signed this Joshar de Jesus Gonzalez. He was rumored for over a year. As soon as the clock struck whatever time it was allowed to sign, he put pen to paper. So why does Sasaki had to do this whole thing? I don't know. It seemed like a charade to me.
Hollywood.
One thing I think the Giants could do a better job of is, look, the Dodgers only have, just like any other team, only have a certain amount of roster spots. They keep signing new players and new players. Well, that means some players have to go. And guys like Walker Buehler, who still can pitch and still are good, I would love the Giants to have gotten him, and he could basically come over here and have a big FU attitude towards the Dodgers. They can't keep everybody. They're going to have to let go of some people getting in.
Yeah, Buehler went to the Red Sox, though.
No, I think they should have went after him, right?
Oh, yeah, they should have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me get to a couple of super chats here, and then we'll close out. This is Kevin Dodgers Guerrera says this is what Dodger fans felt like in the 2010s. Yeah, I can imagine.
Not quite like this. I mentioned this the other night. Not like this. Like Dodgers looked at the Giants in 10, 12, and 14 and said, damn, they're not all that, and they're still winning. Like, we know the Dodgers are all that. They're loaded.
Yeah. And then he actually reminded me of what my thought was, what I was going to say. And I want to close with this, asking you guys some questions on this. With Roki to LA, does this push the Giants and Posey to give Alonso opt-outs and other stuff within reason if it means he signs a long-term deal with San Francisco? All right. I want to get your opinion on this, guys. Should the Giants go in and Bryce Eldridge is a prospect, but prospects are suspects until proven otherwise, right? So we've heard, all these great prospects. I do think Eldridge is going to be the guy, though. I do believe that, but it's not guaranteed. Alonso can give you 30-plus homers. He can probably hit you 240 to 260 range, somewhere in that range. Not a great fielder, but gives you some pop, which you don't have. And if you signed Alonso, does that open the possibility now of, hey, maybe we might have a shot next year at Kyle Tucker or a Vladdy Guerrero? Because, hey, now you've got some people then you're building. And what like Buster said, he said that what's going to change things? He said, I think it's going to have to be on the field. So why aren't you doing something on the field? You look at this team right now and you say, no chance. No chance, not just to compete with the Dodgers, but really no chance probably to compete with the Diamondbacks or the Padres. And it looks to me like this team, if everything went perfectly, yes, I can see a scenario where, Matos comes up, he has a breakout year, Fitzgerald improves, Chapman has a good as year as he had last year, Adames repeats, Chung-Hoo Lee comes back, hits well. All these things happen. Everybody just kind of like 2021. But the likelihood of that is probably less than 5%. So would signing a couple of guys right now give the fan base, the team a jolt, and would it possibly improve their chances to becoming the destination place that Ned Colletti always says? The Giants need to become a destination place.
I mean, it might help a little bit from a destination point of view, showing that the Giants are serious and they're signing big name players. But I said it the other night, I don't think going toe to toe and move to move with big players with the Dodgers is going to beat them, especially in the lineup. I think the way to beat the Dodgers is to accumulate superstar pitching and shut that team down. It's not going to be getting, 2 more bats. Like, I'll use the analogy, like the Dodgers are a big puncher as a fighter. The Giants can't compete against them. They have to be a boxer. They have to stick and move. And a boxer can beat a puncher, if that makes any sense. So would it help the reputation of the Giants? Absolutely. About being a destination and showing them as being serious. Would it help them overtake the Dodgers on the standings? I don't think so, personally.
What's your thoughts on it, Bora?
To me, I wouldn't sign Pete Alonso. I would go after Alex Bregman if you can. I like Alex Bregman more than Pete Alonso. And if the Giants are concerned, not concerned, but worried about the issue of having 2 first basemen with Pete Alonso and Bryce Eldridge coming up, go ahead and sign Alex Bregman. He can play second base. You can move Tyler Fitzgerald to an everyday utility role where I think he would be best. That's where he gets to showcase his athleticism. And Alex Bregman is a certified, he is a Gold Glover. He's a great defender, and I bet that Gold Glove third base defense would play at second base. I think third base is harder to play than second base, so I think that would translate. Alex Bregman doesn't strike out a lot. He usually hits for a decently high average, around like 260 to 270. To me, that would be the signing rather than Pete Alonso. And I don't know, because if you sign Pete Alonso, you give up draft pick or two, and I think you might be giving up some international money. I don't know if Houston offered a qualifying offer to Alex Bregman. If they did, then he would be costing a draft pick too. And I don't know if the Giants want to do that because they kind of want to build through the draft and through their farm system. Yeah. But so that's my first answer. They should go after Alex Bregman, not Pete Alonso. My second answer is no, the Giants are not going to do that because this whole offseason they've said they want to stay under the tax threshold. And the tax threshold this year right now is $241 million. The Giants are at $220 million. So they only have about $20 to $21 million left to spend. And Pete Alonso or Alex Bregman are going to cost north of that. They're going to cost 25 to 30 million. So I don't see it happening. I don't think the Giants see it happening. I don't think it's likely. Maybe it's Anthony Santander if they can get him for, like you said earlier, Dan, 18 million. But realistically, they only have 20 million left to spend this offseason. And like we said earlier, if Tyler Rogers, Mike Yastrzemski, Tom Murphy, Wilmer Flores, Lamont Wade Jr., all those guys make up $40 million. Yeah, those guys make up $40 million on the tax threshold. Yep. You could sign Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman for $60 million and be under the tax threshold instead of having those guys. So I would sign Alex Bregman, but they're not going to do anything. They're most likely done. They might make a couple small moves to boost their bullpen. I would like to see a Tanner Scott maybe because he would cost less than 20 million. He might cost around 12 to 15. That might be a move I'd be interested in. Just because you can never have enough bullpen help. And if you can solidify your bullpen, that helps everything really. But they're not. I don't think they're going to go after any big name free agents.
Agree.
Wow. Interesting. Lou, your thoughts on this?
It's all about being safe, making the owners happy with their 7% return. They don't care about the fans. And, it's just one of those things. We're going to have to put up with this for a couple of years. But, I think what's nice about this show is when the Dodgers do lose or they get shut out, it shows it's possible. I think the Giants, with getting Buster was one step ahead, and they've taken 2 steps back. And now we're going to be looking up, and it's, we're going to have to face it, guys. We had 3 championships. You're going to have to love it because it's might not happen while we're still alive again.
Ooh.
Mark Graves says, I don't buy the destination winning trumps everything. Yeah, of course, Mark. I mean, that comes without saying. You got to be a winning team. That's what ultimately creates the destination. I think that's really what Ned's saying is they got to find a way to start winning so guys want to come here. There's one comment I saw here. It kind of makes me chuckle, Cole. The Giants need to do something now. I think the LA Sasaki signing was a wake-up call to Posey. I don't think so, Cole. Not a wake-up call. I mean, look, I have no knowledge of anything that's been tipped to me. It's just using common sense that he was going to be a Dodger. If Posey didn't know that Sasaki was going to be a Dodger, he shouldn't be in the position he's in. I mean, that's just it. This isn't going like, oh, dang. They got Sasaki. I got to go out and get somebody. No, but he's strapped. He's strapped by the hands of his owners. Buster Posey is a owner, but he's also a minority owner. And just because he's an owner and he has a voice, he is not the voice.
That's exactly. That's what I put out on Twitter just now. I said, if the other teams thought they had a chance, then that's on them. Sasaki to the Dodgers was obvious from the start, and all of MLB got fooled into thinking they had a chance. I mean, it was to me, it was fairly obvious that he was going to the Dodgers.
I mean, we said it from day one. When Ohtani signed last December, Sasaki came out within hours and said, I want to be posted now, because he wanted to go to the Dodgers last year. Because, guys, you got to remember, the Dodgers have been recruiting Sasaki since high school. He already has a relationship established with the team. The Giants, when they went and signed Jung-Hoo Lee, supposedly I can't even remember the guy's name. He's gone now from the Giants. He went over to see Jung-Hoo Lee and he didn't even play or something. but they went ahead and signed him anyway. They weren't even in on Jung-Hoo Lee for years.
And that's the difference. That's the difference between the Dodgers and the Giants. They were all over Sasaki. They got him. The Giants supposedly have been all over Imanaga and loved him, and they didn't sign him. Went to the Cubs. That's the difference.
The Dodgers see their guy, they like their guy, and they get their guy. The Giants see the guy, they like the guy, and he goes somewhere else.
Yeah, the Dodgers or the Giants had a deal in place last year, if you remember, for you just mentioned him, forgot his name, Shota Imanaga. They had a deal. They had a deal. Dave Fleming had said that he thought a signing was going to happen, and it was going to be Imanaga. And the next day, he signs. Something happened where Farhan did something where he screwed up the deal.
Not a closer. He's not a closer. He's like he gets to the 7th and 8th inning and blows it. He just does not close. And hopefully Buster will be a little bit better, to be determined.
Cole, you're reading this as a fan and not you're not thinking like the Giants think. He says, "Hey guys, I think this was a big wake-up call for Posey that, well, now we actually need to step up here against LA. Roki was the most attainable for the Giants." And no, he was never attainable, Cole. He was a Dodger from day one. He was not going to the Giants. The Giants had no chance. Why would he choose the Giants over the Dodgers? You have to answer yourself, put yourself in his shoes. Why does he want to come to a fourth place team that is not getting stars, and they don't even have really a true sixth-man rotation? The other thing is about waking up Posey. Posey's had all off season to wake up, and he passed every first baseman that was available.
Ohtani signing with the Dodgers last year should have been the wake-up call.
Yeah, it should have been that would have been the wake-up call. Yeah, Ohtani. And this is how the Giants do things. And I am just going to say this, and then we're going to close this. The Giants are disgusting. Okay? They said they matched Ohtani's offer of $7.
And Judge.
And yeah. Are you freaking serious? Like, okay, Shohei, I live in Orange County. I got my everything I want here. I'm comfortable, and I get a chance to go play in the biggest baseball team, New York might be the biggest market, but I get to play where I live, and I get to play with the Dodgers. I'm close to Japan as I'm going to be if I'm in the U.S., and I can play with the mighty Dodgers, or I can go play with the San Francisco Midgets. Are you serious? And then Farhan had the gall to say, well, we were willing to match. Farhan, you clueless, dude. That's why you're out on the street. You needed to give him $1 billion, and that probably wouldn't have been enough either. But you don't match the LA Dodgers. It's like, okay, yeah, right. It's like, I got this job offer, right? And I get to go work with the number one company in whatever field it is. And then I got some crappy organization that's in the same field, and they're going to match my offer. I'm like, let's see. I can go with the best and work for the very best, and I get play in front of 56,000 people every night, or I can go and play in this crap hole that's freezing cold, and this team sucks, and I got a real dilemma, guys. I don't know what I'm going to choose. Come on, Farhan, you joke. The Giants, bunch of clowns, running this organization like a bunch of clowns.
I can play in front of Magic Johnson every night, or Steve Perry, who shows up once a year.
Yeah.
That's the best way to end it. The bozo is leaving the building.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. I guess Bo here, my new lab, he says it's time to eat, Dad. So 40 minutes late. So, guys, we will see you. I think we're coming on tonight at 7:45. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but it won't be long. We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.